So I call Matt, who is my friend, because he is able to calm me down in these kind of situations.
You know what's so crazy? The fact that one, Gino still doesn't know about Matt. Two, that Jasmine feels the need to have to call Matt just to get some sort of advice or guidance in terms of her relationship. And then also on top of that, she only stayed because Matt told her that it's best for her to stay? Imagine that. A man that isn't even your woman's husband has more control over your woman than you do. That she's more likely to listen to what he's got to say. She's more submissive to him than she is to you. I mean, listen, if you ask me, that should tell you that she already has more respect for that person, more likely than she has for you. But let's be real. Can any woman have respect for somebody like Gino? Well, I'll leave that one up to you guys.
We fight all the time. I can't be intimate with someone unless I have a strong connection with them.
So you keep telling us. When are you going to move on from this? How can you stay in a relationship where you keep having to complain about the same thing time and time and time again?
And then this morning, Jasmine's accusing me I'm a porn addict, which I'm not.
You know, it's one thing to say that you cannot be intimate with somebody because they are always arguing with you. First and foremost, nobody should still be in a relationship with somebody, even if it's a friendship with somebody, that you feel the need to always have to keep repeating the same thing time and time again. Nobody should be in that situation, point blank, period. But then now also to stay in that relationship and then for that person to then accuse you of something that could be considered crazy, well, then that tells you a lot. But of course, when it comes to Jasmine and Gino, the fact that it has been said now more than once, several times by Jasmine, that this man prefers to indulge in his own right hand than he does in actually feeding the real thing itself in particular. Gino is like the perfect example of why they say that pornography is not good for you. It is bad for a man's mental health. It is bad in terms of how it can manipulate you to desire something that maybe your woman does not have. Listen, there's always this dark side about everything. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, these dark sides about everything in the world, to be fair, they're quite subjective because it depends on the person. But with Gino now, he's one of those people that is a part of that conversation, because the fact that he would rather entertain himself by watching someone who he can't touch rather than actually being with the person that he's actually with, that screams problems. That should tell Gino a lot about his own current mental state of mind, or maybe even telling that maybe he just doesn't like to be physical. Maybe he prefers to just watch instead. I'm not surprised at this point that Gino hasn't suggested another man come in and happily pleasure Jasmine while he sits there and watches and then bashes off his freaking bishop. That was a UK slang there. In fact, that was actually quite old school slang there, to be fair. But you get the gist of what I'm saying, that, while he watches and does his own little situation with his hands. I'm not, because I mean, that would still be a form of pornography, right?
If he really wants to save this marriage, he has to do better than, oh, Jasmine, nice earrings.
I mean, listen, I do agree 100%. Obviously, when it comes to Gino and him complimenting his woman, that's definitely not an area that he's good at. And it's not an area that I believe he probably will ever be good at, because it seems to me whenever it comes to, saying the things that should be said or need to be said to Jasmine to at least give her that reassurance that she needs, this is something that he likes at any given time. But then at the same time, some people, no matter how much you give them a reassurance, no matter how much you compliment them, they just will never accept it, and they will still continue to be difficult regardless. So the question is Jasmine the kind of person that can really appreciate compliments, or she's somebody who just likes to complain about it, but then when she gets one, she just brushes it off or causes another problem? Now that's the question itself in particular. Nonetheless, though, let's move on to the next couple.
Okay, wait,
Basically, okay, so for example, this behavior, he can't help himself. He needs constant validation and attention. Annoying.
I don't know if there's much truth behind the fact that he needs a lot of validation and attention. Maybe he does, because he is somebody that is a performer. And I guess as a performer, you need to know if your performances are good enough for the people that you are obviously trying to please. So maybe there's truth behind it. I don't know. But I can say that when it comes to giving attention to his actual marriage, well, yeah, let's just say that is completely out of the window.
Instead of coming to say hello to me, Vinny wants to goof off with the other people. We're supposed to be here working on our marriage, but he's just not willing to take anything seriously.
I know this probably may be an unpopular opinion based on obviously the history between Benny and Aria Lowry herself in particular, but I do feel sorry for her, because so far since they've been on this little journey here, there's never been any point where Benim has actually tried to try at any given time. I mean, he's been so stuck on the fact that he feels as if she's blackmailing him purely because she won't give him the password. Which, listen, I do agree. You know, not giving him the password is a mad move. Really and truly, she should just give it to him, and then if he then wants to actually give her the affection that she needs, then he will. To hold something back from somebody in hopes that they will give you affection to gain it back, that's not healthy. That's a very bad thing, because that means he'll be only willing to work hard, not for the sake of the relationship, but for the sake of what you have against him. You see what I'm saying? Which is obviously a bad move, a terrible move by her. And this is why I guess sometimes, or most of the time, people don't want to like her, because she does things that are radical. She does things that make no sense. She does things that just shouldn't be done. But does it change the fact that this man does not want to be physical with her, or the fact that he does not want to agree, he does not want to be nice to her? I guess it's easier to sit and say, well, he doesn't need to if she's obviously, holding information that he needs as a way of blackmail. And I guess that's where she's obviously not done herself any favors in terms of how she's obviously handled the situation. And that's where she obviously needs to do some growing up. But at the same time, though, it's easy to say that she needs to grow up, but does that mean that we are ignoring the fact that this is somebody who has mental challenges where she does things that she shouldn't be doing? And therefore, really and truly, this is more of a case where she needs to really work on her mental aspect of life in terms of herself, rather than doing things like these that are just not healthy for her current mental state of mind. If anything, she could be making it worse for herself, giving herself more of a headache, especially given what happens in this episode with Ari as well.
They're all here to work on their relationships, and that's why we're here. We're trying to work on it, but he's still giving me the silent treatment.
You know, it's sad though, because obviously when these two try to have a conversation, the conversation never goes anywhere. And that's what they need. They need to have a real conversation. They even had one before in the last episode with one of the experts, or whatever you want to call them. And in that conversation, Biniam said he agreed that he was going to try and work towards one in her back rather than the passwords. The sad thing is he hasn't actually tried to do that, which is a problem, which therefore means that he lied. It isn't a good thing.
The more anxious I'm getting and the more upset I'm getting that I'm not able to relax, it's spiraling.
Now, obviously, in this episode, this is where we witness what happens when she gets anxious. How obviously once she gets anxious, the anxiety hits, what does she do? She looks like as if she shut down, decided to go into the toilet and literally lock the door. Didn't want to leave, And to be fair, this is you could say it's a cry for attention. 2, you could say it's a cry of desperation. 3, you could say it's a cry of the fact that she feels not even, I was going to say she feels seen, not heard, but it's a case where she doesn't even feel seen or heard. Because I think it's sometimes we can try and say things to somebody and they're seeing us, but they're not hearing us. And then there's sometimes where, somebody doesn't even see us as well as hear us. So maybe this is one of those things where she is trying to get that attention. She's like, well, you don't hear me. I've tried that. And, and you're clearly not seeing me neither. So now I need to do something more dramatic for you to be able to see me and hear me. So this is what she pulls, which I would imagine this is why she did this, But does that mean it's a good thing? No. I mean, this is one of those things where Benjamin has to look at the situation, understand how he's behaving, how it's impacting his wife. But also at the same time, this is where she has to also understand that the way she's handled things has reflected on how he's ended up handling the situation. So both of them are in the wrong. None of them are in the right, because of the way he's been dealt. But I will say this though, Ari has tried to have a conversation with him, but the only problem was that she did it by withholding his password. So to be fair, there's never been a correct approach from the very get-go. The moment that he saw, he shook her hand rather than hugging her. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, these two are in a very, 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 very bad place. Whether it's worth to be salvaged, I guess that's up to them.
It's so annoying because Ari still she didn't give it to me the password yet, but I feel bad because she now be upset. Still, I love her. Still, I want to fix her for situation.
I mean, to be honest with you, let's be real. I don't think he loves her anymore. I don't know if he ever did, to be honest with you. But I think it's clear that he just wants the password and then he wants to bounce.
After trying to center myself, doing some breathing exercises, I was able to just say, you know what? I'm ready to face this situation that has made me uncomfortable.
Now, when she did mention the fact that she had to do some breathing exercise, that obviously links to the fact that her anxiety was obviously played up. She was getting to that point where she was losing control, didn't know how to act, didn't know how to react, I don't know if anybody has seen Inside Out #2. Inside #1 was fantastic. #2 is even more fantastic. But #2 is when they introduce the emotion anxiety. And it shows you that when people get anxious and that anxiety is triggered, we start to do things and we start to lose control, and then we start to panic, and then we start to improvise, and then we're like, what do we do next? And we start to do things, we're like, and all of a sudden, we need to learn how to breathe and control ourselves. So I'd say that is probably linked to her anxiety itself in particular. But this is another thing though, because she knows that being around Benny is something that can trigger this side of her, they should tell her that clearly he's not the man for her, because she shouldn't be in a position where she can be with somebody who triggers that part of her. Now, of course, there's still the part where not only does he trigger it, but she also allows it to be triggered because she does things that doesn't help the situation, which tells you that these two just aren't a match. It's that simple. But either way, though, we have to acknowledge that despite how people feel with her, we got to pinpoint some of these things, because these are the things that maybe some of you folks can relate to yourselves or relate to other people in terms of why do you do certain things? Why did you do that? Should you have done that? Was you overreacting? And then finding the source behind it.
To do therapy and you won't even speak to me, and that's really not fair and it's not nice. You speak to everyone else, you know, you need to be able to speak to me.
I agree.
What?
Huh?
What are you upset about?
He thinks the password, everything. I'm upset. Like, for me, like, I don't know if he's not taking. Just for me, like, it's hard. Like,
I mean, listen. At first, I would have said that the password thing isn't that deep, but I guess he just doesn't like to be made to feel like as if he's being forced into something that he doesn't want to be involved in. So I do understand Benny's frustrations regarding that, and that's why Ari was completely wrong for it.
Because I think we're going to leave here, we're going to be much better. So I'm going to give you your password and you'll be happy.
Well, the good news is that they finally had a conversation that actually had an ending that was actually positive, and that was the fact that she's going to give him the password, as you saw. And then I guess we have to wait and find out, obviously, what happens within the next couple of episodes. Is Benny now going to actually, try and make an effort, or is he going to say, nope, I'm done? Either way, whatever choice that Benny makes, he can't necessarily be wrong for it, depending on how he makes it. And what I mean is that he can make a choice where he doesn't want to make the effort anymore because he doesn't feel like he can trust them moving forward, which is fine. Or he can want to make the effort because he feels as if, okay, something is here, which is fine. Or he can maybe still stick around to string him along, knowing that really and truly he's completely done. That is unnecessary behavior, but we have to wait and find out to see, of course, how he handles it moving forward, because now the ball's in his court. He's got what he wanted. The question is he now going to try? And that's what she wants. If you ask me, their relationship is dead, but it is what it is. We continue with the next people.
Sometimes Julie and I want opposite things. She wants to go out dancing and I don't, and I just worry that Julie is more focused on making friends and having fun than what we actually came here for.
It's funny. He says then what we actually came here for. I don't think you two came for the same thing. So to be honest with you, I reckon the best thing that he can do is just to talk about what he came here for rather than what we came here for, because there is no we with Julie and Brandon.
Just to work on our issues. Julie, seriously. Hey, I'm not joking. Seriously, you can see your face.
You know what the maddest thing is? When your man says to, hey, I'm not joking. That's when usually a lot of women who respect their man, to be fair, women who respect their man wouldn't do this in the first place. But usually, when somebody says I'm not joking, that's when you need to start acting up. So you need to stop acting up and start behaving. And the fact that she didn't even respect that says it all.
Exactly, you embarrassed.
Hey, I have fun.
There's a million ways in the world to have fun. I have fun, but I didn't show
You don't have fun. You just sit and stay in the bar.
I can have fun without. I want to be married to somebody who's ready to be a mom.
It's crazy, but here you really see the difference between these two. It makes you wonder how they lasted so long in a relationship. It doesn't make any sense.
Somebody's ready to be a mom, not a stripper.
It's not fair. Brand say my behavior not exactly what he expects from mother of his children. I know I'm not ready to be a mother.
This is why I say that he should be focused on saying I, not we. He can sit there all day and talk about what we should be expecting of each other. But bro, this is your expectation. This is what you want from your woman, but your woman doesn't want what you want. So therefore, you have to think about whether or not if it's worth you continuing this relationship with your woman or not, or if there's a form of a compromise. But let's be real, these two have been together for long enough now. You can argue and say that they've gone past the stage of compromise. Either way, Brandon, it's not we. It's literally I. And that's sad, because in a relationship, it's supposed to be we. Never supposed to be I. Well, maybe sometimes, but boy, yeah.
but I think Brenda should always support me.
I mean, we haven't had intimate time. I want her to like dress up sexy and wear lingerie and stuff like that. And she doesn't even do that.
Imagine that though, man. Like, your woman doesn't dress up sexy for you privately, but she'll happily dress up sexy publicly. Oh, God damn. Yeah, now that's a madness. We continue.
Do anything. In our marriage, dancing on bars is not what's going to move our relationship forward. I wish Julia would start focusing on more important things in life, like starting a family.
Like I said, there is no we in that conversation of starting a family. She has no interest. She's told you multiple times. I don't know why this is going through deaf ears. Brandon, you are your own problem. What you're going through right now with your woman, it's on you because you're ignoring what she's telling you. She's telling you that she doesn't want any kids right now and she wants to live her life. So again, he's got a choice. It's either you stick around and you support her the way she says that you don't support her, or you leave her and you find someone that's going to give you what you want now. The ball is in his court more than he even imagines, because she keeps telling him. Now, don't get me wrong, he keeps telling her too, but the difference is that he's the one that is stressing about it. Meanwhile, she's not. She's like, oh yeah, we'll have kids at some point. With him, he's like, no, I need you to do it now. So he's the one that's stressed. Therefore, the ball is in his court in terms of how this relationship can be detected moving forward. Either you support her madness or you leave. Make a choice. Therapy isn't going to help you too, in my opinion. But that's just me. We continue.
Very rude comments.
What did she say? Every man
Right now, in case you don't know, they're talking about Natalie. Natalie's obviously been insulting Sophie behind her back, saying that she flirts with every other man there. That is crazy. That is crazy work, to be honest with you. That's one hell of an accusation. Ah, dear Lord.
She told me you have a plastic glass.
If Natalie knows about the fact that Josh has messaged me, but even if she does know, he's the one that messaged me. I didn't even reciprocate it.
It is quite nasty for her to comment on somebody else's body. I'm going to leave that comment right there.
Doing is like, it's giving insecure and it's giving mean girl energy.
He doesn't help me with anything.
What? I think she has a misunderstanding.
They're arguing right now.
You should listen.
Now, here's a part here that I really did not like personally, and it should be fair, I felt like this was the theme of the majority of the episode this week. This theme was more about people being petty rather than people being just focused on their own relationship. Well, let's get into it.
Even on the bus yesterday, she said, Rob, you deserve better. And then she looked at me. And I said, what do you mean? I said, I told her, this morning, she came and sat next to me. And she grabbed Rob's arm and was like, oh, your tattoos are so hot.
I'm not gonna lie to you, that's some nasty work right there. How can you be out here commenting about Sophie talking to every other guy, apparently, but yet you're out here complimenting her? Come on now, nasty work. But am I surprised? Am I surprised by Natalie? Hell no, never have been, never will be.
Getting me right now? And it's like, cool, if you want to play games, I'll play games back. No, don't stop me playing the games with me. I'm going to play. Can we play too? Yeah.
See, this is the part where I just find it's petty and sad as hell. Like, why are you here to play games? If Natalie's got insecurities, you let her do her business with her insecurities and just do what you can not to entertain it. You know what I mean? But to play games, to antagonize, to gaslight her insecurities, I ain't gonna lie to you, as much as I enjoyed watching it, at the same time, I thought you folks were here for therapy. You were here to focus on your own relationships. You're not here to meddle on other people's. If Natalie wants to do that, listen, you just pull it to the side and tell her to F off. You don't be then meddling into the same games, because therefore you end up exposing how old you really are as well. And that's just a young woman who clearly isn't choosing to choose the mature way out. But then again, though, age doesn't always make a factor in terms of how people are, when people are mature anyway. But with that being said, though, let's get into the nitty and gritty.
Do you do a lot of modeling for Josh? I would love to, but for some reason,
He doesn't help me with anything.
But I can't make the agent sign
when
her.
did you put? I never met any agent.
We're still here. Her saying, but Josh doesn't do this, he doesn't do that for me. So then why are you still with him then? Why are you still chasing him if he doesn't do nothing for you? How many years has it been now? Girl, please.
Why would they move from Florida? To avoid guy who has connection and he doesn't like the connection.
Did you ask her no, I did not. No, I did not.
And let's talk about that. Natalie moved on her own accord. She moved from Florida to LA, right? With the hope that Josh was going to help her gain a career. And they were going to actually, make their relationship a bit more stronger. She did all of these things without Josh asking her to move. without Josh promising her anything. She did it off her own back. But where's that accountability? Oh yeah, accountability? She has no idea what that is, but we continue.
He said that Josh told me that she's gonna leave. Of course, I understand that he has to go to see his son. I totally respect that. But I honestly feel like Josh should have told me it privately.
The maddest thing is that Josh pulled her to the side and said, "Hey, I gotta leave." Da 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 da. She's the one that goes. She's then the one that goes and tells everybody that Josh is leaving. He pulled you to the side privately. Yeah, fair enough. He could have done it at the hotel. Fair enough. He could have done it at another time. I get it, but he definitely didn't tell everyone. You did. The woman that knows how to create her own problems but take no accountability for the fact that she's the one that's been the mastermind behind her own freaking problems.
Yeah, ask him. Who did he invite to Vegas?
What do you mean? He invited someone to Vegas?
So now we move on to the petty side. This is Sophie purposely standing next to Josh, purely just to, gaslight Natalie. Now, of course, this wasn't shown anyway. It wasn't shown Sophie speaking to Jasmine and telling Jasmine to go and instigate, to be fair. So all I know is that Jasmine's going to instigate on her own accord, which is a madness. While Sophie's gone there, not knowing that instigation is happening, but with the purposes of gaslighting the situation. You see the level of pettiness in this whole scene? Come on now. And then Jasmine acted as if like she had no part of anything that went down after this. It's crazy work.
What he invited to that, to Vegas, trash. No guy! Any single guys here?
I don't know what human being in there. Well, I think they claim that she's 39. I mean, I contest whether I contest that she's still in her 30s, but that's just me. Either way, though, what grown-ass woman walks around in a bar, pub, whatever you're gonna call it, club, and goes, "Oh, any single guys? Are you crazy? What guy is gonna want your attention if you're gonna be screaming, any single guys? My guy's leaving me for somebody to take another girl to Las Vegas, bloody daddy daddy da." Natalie loves to talk about class or likes to present herself as if she's classy. Darling, you are far from classy.
Natalie!
Like, what are you? You're a married woman, you're half naked, and you with my boyfriend going to Vegas. Who are you?
The way she was like, "And who are you?" We've experienced many people with serious levels of insecurities. But Natalie's a different breed. Somebody that's meant to be so gorgeous, she's very insecure.
To you, to come to your husband and this random guy in Vegas because you're hooker.
I'm 20 years younger than you, so we could take a step away and talk like adults.
It's me, that's me,
To be honest with you, this whole name calling, you're a hooker, you're this, you're that. Does Natalie think that behavior is attractive? Because that behavior is not attractive. That behavior is disgusting, it's grotesque, it's horrible. Like, who are you to sit there and call someone else a hooker just because your man DM'd them? And on top of that, you were upset with Sophie for Josh messaging her. She didn't message him first. He messaged her. Let's just put it out there. She's taking out her frustrations on the rock. And this thing I don't understand about people sometimes, They always will go after the person, not the person that's cheated, but the person they cheated with. It's wild to me.
As a boyfriend, trust is cool.
I'm friends with her.
If you want as a woman, why you keep me here?
If you want other women, why you keep me here? I mean, I've got a better question for you. Why did you move from Florida to flipping LA, not knowing that this man actually wanted you for sure? How about that question?
You want me to be an idiot, sacrifice my life, trash, idiot, dog, go away. This? Why? I deserve a woman who will respect me. I would never do this to you.
I'm gonna lie to you, after that description of the way she said XYZ, I was sitting there and I said to myself, you know what? You said it and none of us said it. So we'll just agree with you. I mean, I happily would agree with you when you said that. Anyway, we continue.
Listen, you are not gonna play these games with me. And you're crazy, but don't mess up with me, Natalie.
You know what the most maddest thing is? The way Natalie just stood there quiet, said no words. You know, she knows that clearly the security is around and no one gonna get hit, and she knows that on this show, no violence is condoned anyway. Unless it's another one, she knows it, right? And I do wonder if this was a different show where she knew violence was about to happen. I do wonder if Natalie would have stayed there. I reckon she probably would have ran, to be honest with you, but the way she just froze and just stood there with a smug look on her face told me everything that I needed to know. You're only standing there with a smug look in your face, knowing that Jasmine can't do nothing to you. Not because she doesn't want to, but because, you know, she cannot. Man, people like that bother me.
With me. I didn't start, and it's not my fault that you are with a dude that doesn't give a about you. Throw a glass on my feet, and you are gonna apologize.
I mean, should she apologize? Probably, yeah, but should you be held accountable for the fact that you instigated the situation? Yes, and that too. Jasmine, this is what happens when you get involved in other people's business. You got involved in someone else's business, and now you had a little bit of a splash onto you. Oh, wow. Let's all cry about it. Like, calm down, relax.
You are gonna apologize. You are gonna apologize right now, Natalie. I'm crazy. I've been patient, I've been supportive to you, and you're acting like the
I've been patient, I've been supportive, and man, listen, I don't know if Jasmine's never seen an episode before of Natalie in it, but ain't no one can ever be Natalie's friend. I mean, listen, to be fair, I was still surprised when Debbie, Colt's mom, you know, flew away from Canada just to serve her the papers of divorce for Michael because, you know, she felt like somebody needed to be there for Natalie. It's kind of crazy though, like, the fact that Debbie felt like she needed to do that for her so somebody can be there for her, but then that tells you how much Natalie has no friends. It tells you how much she's so isolated, how much people just don't like her. Honestly, that says a lot to me. Because there was so many other cast members there on that episode that could have been there for her. But they had to bring in Deb all the way from Canada to come in and do that. It was Debbie off. Listen, that tells... Either way, though, let me know your thoughts. I'm out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.